Fighting for the right to work from home. Newly proposed legislation would allow California state workers to continue working remotely, requiring agencies establish permanent telework policies.
This comes as the deadline approaches for all state employees to return to in-person work. Our Richard Allen joins us with more on the standoff developing between Governor Newsom and the state's largest public sector union. Richard?
And Carlo and Marcella, that deadline is July 1st after Governor Newsom signed an executive order last year requiring state workers to show up in person at least 4 days a week. Now, that order sparked backlash from thousands of employees who are now being backed by this new bipartisan legislation. For months, members of California's largest union of state workers, SEIU Local 1000, have protested the return to office mandate.
For our people, it's a pay cut. We know that telework makes sense. We saw it through COVID, that the infrastructure was better, the environment was better, we were more productive, the state was saving money.
Union members are now rallying behind AB 1729, new state legislation that would require the state to offer telework to the fullest extent possible, requiring state agencies to provide clear justification for requiring employees to work in person, and creating a dashboard documenting the benefits of remote working, including reduced commutes, reduction in emissions, and cost savings to the state. A new state audit finds that telework could save the state as much as $225 million a year by reducing office space by 30%.
What my bill is saying is every department should figure out their own telework policy.
Democrat Assemblymember Alex Lee says AB 1729 would not only help the environment, but would also open new economic opportunities.
That we don't have to rely on an outdated 1960s cubicle kind of sense. I represent workers in Silicon Valley who go into the office like twice a week maybe, and they still work for some of the most record-breaking profit-making corporations in the world.
I think that the governor's blanket executive order is not the direction that we want to go.
Republican Assemblymember Josh Hoover, co-author of the bill, says this move to create a permanent policy for telework is critical to remaining competitive.
It's also about attracting the best and brightest employees to work for our state. The private sector has embraced remote work very effectively, and we want to be able to compete from that talent pool for the best and the brightest in our state.
I'm for addressing the issue of loneliness and isolation. I'm for getting us back. So, as you know, I've supported that, and I believe that we're on track to do that July 1st.
Governor Gavin Newsom is holding firm on his executive order, saying it's not only important for collaboration, but it's also crucial to help local businesses, many of which took a hit during COVID and are still struggling.
We got to get these downtowns moving again, get a sense of community and place.
And Governor Newsom's executive order had originally required state workers to return to the office last July, but that was pushed down to July 2026 after intense pushback by union members. Now, as for Assembly Bill 1729, it will most likely be taken up in committee starting sometime early next month. Carlo and Marcella?
So, Richard, if this legislation ultimately does pass, when would it go into effect?
Well, the way it's written right now, AB 1729 has what's called an urgency clause written into it, meaning that if it passes, it would go into effect immediately.
Now, even if it does pass both chambers of the legislature, and it looks like it has a good chance, from my understanding, the governor is likely to veto this measure, correct?
Well, he is opposed to it. We just heard him there. So that would require what's known as a legislative veto override. Essentially, 2/3 of both the Assembly and the state Senate would have to vote to go against the governor's veto. Now, we should note that would be extremely unusual. It hasn't happened here in California since 1980, back when Jerry Brown was governor for the first time.
All right, we will continue to follow this. A lot of people have strong opinions on both sides.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Richard.